Welcome back, everybody, to Huobi X-Change, and I am with Lindy, the business developer of
Hello,
iToken.
everybody. Thanks, Daco. Thanks for having me here.
Welcome back. Good to see you. And we have also Jean from Slowmist, PR department of Slowmist. How are you doing?
Good. How is everybody today?
Fantastic. And to everybody watching on YouTube Live and on the official Huobi Global app, please smash that like button, share this video, put up your feet, grab some drink, and enjoy the ride. And tonight there will be some special drops happening throughout. But in the meantime, you will also need to download the iTokenWallet, which is, of course, Lindy, on Google Play and the App Store.
Yeah, that's right. Just download the iTokenWallet app if you don't already have it. If you have it already, that's cool. So once you download it, if you're new to it, you can go and import a wallet, or you can create a new wallet, get the wallet address, and paste it in the chat box together with your magic words, which Daco will review in the show later.
Yeah, so for everybody watching, please pay close attention to the magic words, the keywords. Get a pen and paper out so you don't miss out, and you could be one of the many lucky winners in this stream tonight. So without further ado, I will be asking our guests some questions with regards to crypto and security, and I'm pretty sure we're going to learn some interesting things here tonight. So I'll start off with Lindy. Now, Lindy, there's been some security incidents lately. From your personal perspective, have you observed any particular pattern of frequency?
I don't see any particular pattern or frequency. To me, it seems like whenever there's an opportunity, hackers will just strike. So, but although there's no frequency, as in every month or every N weeks or so, but I do realize that when there's some big event going on, hackers will be more inclined to attack the system. So, for example, recently there was the Ethereum merge. So I'm sure a lot of hackers were targeting at that. But at the same time, because the people that are in charge of the protocols or in charge of the exchanges, whatever, they are also on high alert. So it doesn't mean that when there's a big incident, there will definitely be a hack, because security will be high as well. So, well, in summary, what I'm trying to say is that regardless of incident, regardless of whether there's a situation or there's a big thing going on at the moment, users have to always be reminded to stay safe, and don't think that, oh, nowadays the crypto is a bear market and nobody's trading, so I can relax and I don't have to take care of security, because that's not true. Hacks can happen anytime. The biggest hacks are taking you by surprise.
That's true. Or I could just be silly and say the best way to protect yourself in crypto from hacks is just don't hold any crypto at all. We don't want to do that, do we? So how about yourself, Jean? What's your take on this? Have you noticed any particular patterns of frequency lately, or not too much?
No, there's really no patterns. It would be nice, because then, like, if everybody decides to take a break, we don't have to worry about working on the weekends or anything like that, or holidays. So like recently, like on Monday, there was just like everything was just happening at once. And I remember like the last time kind of like happened in August, where there was just back to back exploits. Yeah, but unfortunately, like that's not the case. Incidents can happen at any time. And then like what we think like the best offense is to have like a good defense. And then like a lot of these attacks, some of them are like common vulnerabilities that could be avoided with audits. Just like having good security practices in place.
So with exploits, would you say it's just people taking advantage of certain situations, certain glitches, or literally hacks via exploits?
So there's different kinds, because like people get hacked because like they fall for like phishing scams. There's also like it's from like the user side, and then there's like the development side, which is like projects that just have like bad security practices in place, or users that just have bad security practices in place as well. So yeah, there's different ways that you can approach this. So it's not just like oh, like one. There's like a bunch of different ways.
Okay, I think we had a technical issue there. Are we back?
Yeah, I think I like. Did you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
we had a technical issue there. Everyone dropped out and everyone dropped back in. So yeah, the last thing that happened was I just asked you with the exploits, do you think they're just people taking advantage of glitch areas, or are they hacking via finding these exploits? What's your take?
Yeah, like I said before, there's different approaches because there's like the security in the code itself, and then there's people falling for phishing scams, and then like one of like the common ones is just like approving like set function for all, or like the ETH sign where you just pretty much give them like a blank check to your like Ethereum wallet address.
True. All right. So before we move on to the next question, I want to start with the first key word for the magic word giveaway tonight. And for those who are entering the contest and those who do have the iToken app and are ready to join in, the first key word of this evening is crypto safe. That's CRYPTO for crypto. Safe, SAFE, all as one word. In fact, let me see if I can just bring this up. One moment. Keyword crypto safe. And
Yeah, we can see
there we
it.
go. Yeah. So the first keyword, I can type these in there. Keyword is crypto safe. So good luck to everybody joining in the contest and enjoy the prizes if you are one of the lucky winners. Now, while I have Jean on the screen here, I'll move on to the next question, Jean, with you.
Mm-hmm.
Have there been more hacking incidents this year compared to last year?
Yeah, so like as this space like continues to develop, we're seeing more and more developers coming to this space, and then obviously like with more users as well. So it's like great for us since we're able to expand faster, but it also makes it like easy targets for nefarious actors. So we do see like an increase, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword because like more money's flowing in, but like it's also like becoming a kind of like a target for hackers as well.
And Lindy, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I have a chart to show you guys. If you could flash the first chart.
Yep. We'll bring that up in 2 seconds. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, so you can see in
Is that the right
this,
one, Lindy? Yeah.
yeah, this is not the right one. The other one.
This one?
Yeah, correct. So you can
Yep.
see the total value hack and the number of hacks. I got this chart from Chain Analysis. Yeah, I subscribe to one of their newsletters. So you can see that the total number of hacks for this year is higher than last year, and this month especially is very high. And the total value hack is very high as well. So you can so to answer your question, yes, I do think that this year there's definitely more hacks than last year. If you could flash the next one, the text.
This one?
The other one, the text. Yeah, correct.
Yep.
So you can see here, this is very recent. During the Binance Bridge hack, which was just last week. So you can see the total amount stolen in hacks this year is 2.9 billion worth of crypto, and 1.9 billion was from cross-chain bridges. This is already much more than what was stolen last year, and we are still at October. We're not even finished the year yet.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. So what I find interesting as well is ever since Elon Musk started this thing with Twitter about purchasing Twitter, personally, I have noticed probably a 20-fold, a 20x increase in the number of bots and scammers on Twitter. Just me personally. So do Jean, Lindy, do both of you think that this has some contribution to the increase in hacks as of late, or not really?
I'll just speak from my experience. Like it's crazy like how many bots there are. I feel like it's always been there, but like now that like I'm more focused on the since like coming on taking over our social media, I was like there's a lot more bots than I anticipated. And I also like realized that after the whole like Elon purchasing Twitter thing, I realized a lot of more like people from, I don't know if you guys see the notifications and it says like, oh, this person in your contact just signed up for Twitter. And I was like, I was like, oh, maybe there's like real people coming too instead of just bots.
It's pretty crazy. In fact, it's becoming like a real big put off now on Twitter. So I'm thinking that a lot of people are falling for these practices as well. How about yourself, Lindy? What do you think?
Okay, so you see, when people lose their crypto, there are two ways. You see, there's a hackers and there's a scammers. So it's different. Hackers they hack protocols, they hack weaknesses in contracts, in smart contracts. Whereas scammers, they don't really hack anything. It's non-technical. So they just go to you and say like, hey Darko, I have a very special gift for you, and you have to give me your private keys in order to claim your prize. So these are the scam bots on Twitter that they flood posts of reputable people. Like for example, CZ in Binance, he gets a lot of it. So once a prominent person like CZ or Elon Musk, they just make any post, and then the bots will send it and immediately go and post something like, have you not heard of this? Watch this YouTube video, click here to claim your prize, etc. Yeah, and if you are a new crypto user and you are not aware of all these bots, you might be naive enough to think that, oh, okay, maybe this guy is trying to help me, or maybe I really want a prize. So they tend to fall for such scams.
Yeah, I actually know someone who is one of those people where they got into crypto and they had too much pride to ask me to help them and guide them into it. So they tried to be smart and do it on their own. And then he started losing money because he was sending it out to people thinking he was going to get double back, those typical scams. And he was still too proud to contact me about it. So he was contacting a mutual friend of mine. And I was just telling our mutual friend, just tell him to call me and ask me anything. And instead, he's been calling our mutual friend on the phone for 4 hours, 5 hours at a time, complaining that he got scammed, he got wrecked, he lost money. And you know what? In the end, I said, you know what? Don't tell him to call me. I've got no interest anymore. So, yeah, my point is that a lot of people that are new and don't know better are the quickest ones to fall for these types of scams as well. And unfortunately, they tend to learn the hard way with experience. And by then, it's usually a little bit too late. The damage is done. So, now, Lindy, is there any more you could share your opinion on with the recent large-scale hacks?
Yeah, I would say that I think this links to one of the question. Recent large-scale hacks, the main ones would be the Binance Bridge hack and the Ronin hack, both of which are bridges. So I see that a lot of the bigger scale hacks are focused on bridges. Why? Because a lot of money is in bridges.
How about you, Jean?
Yeah. So bridges essentially kind of work like banks before the whole electronic system. So how they work is they have, let's say you want to bridge from the BNB network to let's say the ETH network. So what they do is they create a derivative or a synthetic asset. So you send your funds on one side, and then they kind of send you the synthetic version on the other side. So that's why they kind of keep a huge chunk of the pools inside. So if you think of an old bank where they keep most of the funds in there, and then it makes it easier for hackers, not easier, but hackers will want to target that because that's where most of the money is. They're not going to go after individual smaller accounts because it's not really worth their time. And then you see a lot of times even bridges now where it's hey, if you return it, we'll give you 10%. So not even 10% of 100 million, that's 10 mil. And it just makes it worth their while. So that's why we see a lot more people targeting bridges, and then they also have a lot of fun. So so that's why these attacks are so crazy.
So what do you think are the main differences between cross-chain bridge hacks and the other type of blockchain hacks in a nutshell?
So one of the most common ones re-entry attack, and then it's essentially or flash loans with price manipulation. So with bridge hacks, it's one of the largest one. I think it's the Ronin one. So that was their developer. They accepted a malicious file from Nazareth Group, which is like a North Korean like funded security team. And then
Oh.
they kind of like trick the guy into they create like this whole process where they trick one of the developers into like a bunch of like job applications. They went through the whole process. They're like, hey, here's the PDF file with like your application, and then he accepted it, downloaded the file, which led to the whole Ronin bridge. Like that started the whole domino
Oh.
effect of how they got access to the rest of the keys. So it's
Damn.
not, yeah, it was just like bad security practice with like the human error part of it. And then
Mm.
the most recent one, which is the BNB, like a quick explanation is essentially they like create a fake certificate on the beacon chain, on the BNB chain, and then they're like, hey, here's my proof that I sent you a million BNB, and then they went to the BSC chain, and they're like, hey, I'm here to like redeem it. So that's how they got access to that. And then like I don't know if you guys heard like the Mango recent hack. So that was like a
No.
price manipulation. Yeah, Mango is a
100 mil.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 100 mil. So
Really?
yeah, it's crazy.
I
So
think there were like 4 hacks recently after the Binance bridge. There's Temple DAO as
yeah,
well. It's quite a few.
that's why like on Monday it was just like a crazy thing where it was just like back to back to back to back. I was like, oh my god, can I just get some sleep?
Wow. So 100 million was gone.
Yeah, so that's they did what's something called like a price manipulation. So essentially they had like 5 million funding one account and then 5 million funding another account on Mango. And then
Mm.
what they did is like they kind of like leveraged up to kind of like manipulate the price of Mango token on one account. So where they had like 400 million in assets, because now they're leveraged up, so they're buying more. And then essentially they kind of like let the other account just crash to nothing, but they were able to borrow out 100 mil from pretty much like all the liquidity from Mango. And then what's
Wow.
even crazy is afterwards, so like they have a bunch of Mango tokens now, right? Afterwards, they went in and then they're like, hey, they created a proposal for everyone to vote on. They're like, hey, we want this like kind of like forgiven. They'll return it. We want to forgive and keep some of the fund for themselves. And then you can see it's like it's all the hacker voting for himself. So like they're gonna get
Oh,
prosecuted.
wow. That sounds familiar actually. Like there was a similar accusation made against Luna Classic when they
Mm-hmm.
put forward the proposal. And the
Mm-hmm.
moment the proposal came out, there was like 10 million votes for yes.
Yeah,
And people were like, where did these just come from?
yeah.
So yeah, I remember that. That's what it sounded like to me. Now, Lindy, what's your take on the difference between cross-chain bridge hacks and other types of blockchain hacks?
I would say the biggest difference is the scale of it. Yeah, you can flash the chart again, the first chart.
Okay, the first one. Let me get this right. Is that right?
The other one, the one with
The
two
other one?
colors.
That one?
Yeah, correct. So everybody can see the difference. You can see that non-bridge hacks are really just a small fraction of the bridge hacks. Yeah. So
Yeah.
why this is so? Because such a huge amount of money is in the bridges. Because there are many dApps and there are different protocols, but there are very few bridges and everybody uses the same few bridges. So a lot of money is there. And if you're a
Mm.
hacker, if you're going to spend this amount of time and this amount of effort and this risk to go and hack something, you might as well hack something that has a lot of money for you, right? Rather than you go and hack somebody with no money. Like if you're going to rob somebody, are you going to rob a rich lady or are you going to rob a poor broke beggar, right? You might as well just rob the rich, because I mean the risk is the same. If you get caught, you still end up in jail. So might as well go for more. You see? But ironically, when these people hack the bridges, they use bridges also to launder the money. So it's quite ironic. What
There's the irony right there.
correct,
Well,
because like say they steal some BNB and then they will use another bridge like Avalanche bridge or Ethereum bridge to make it wrapped BNB to siphon it off.
mm.
So
Now
mainly
before,
the main
yeah.
difference would be the scale of it.
Mm. And for everybody watching, to those who just joined, if you don't have the iToken app, please download it now from the App Store or from Google Play, because we are giving away some keywords tonight, which will give you a chance to win some fun stuff. I'm not going to say. Should I say, Lindy? Do you want to say, or should we keep it a mystery?
You can say it, no problem.
What are we giving away exactly, Lindy?
We're giving USDT.
Yeah.
For each magic word, there'll be 30 winners, and each winner wins 5 USDT.
That's right. And I will be displaying them on the screen as well as reading them out. And we'll get to the next one very, very shortly. So once again, to those who have joined, please go to Play Store or Google Play or the App Store and download the iToken app and get ready to enter the contest draw. Now, next up, very importantly, Lindy, what's the success rate of recovering funds that have entered mixing pools? This is a big question on a lot of people's minds. So what do you think?
I think it's like 0.
Yeah, pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah, because first of all, these tokens, I mean, once you enter a mixing pool, like let's say Tornado Cash or some other Monero or whatever, the whole purpose, the whole basis of this project is to hide the source and hide the movement. So it's like a washing machine. Once you throw it in, you can't just recover whatever you have. So it's there. It's there unless something happens like the BSC, like what Binance did to halt the entire network. So in that case, the funds are stuck. You see, the funds are stuck, but it still doesn't mean that you can get it back. It just means that they're stuck. That's all. So the hacker can't get it. Neither can you get it.
True. To catch 22, that one.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling Jean will agree. What do you think, Jean?
Yeah, it's like almost impossible. So like a quick explanation on like mixing pools. Essentially what you're doing is like you're putting your funds in a with other people's funds in and then mix it up. So like for Tornado Cash, when you put like 100 ETH in, there are a bunch of other transactions that goes in there. So then it's kind of like a centralized fund. And then you don't know where it comes out on the other end. So that's why it's so hard to decipher mixers. And then especially like if you're putting in like 1 ETH or 10, and then these are like smaller amounts, so it's like harder to track. But then like if you start going towards like higher amounts, like the Ronin exploit or like the Harmony one, we were able to get some like clues on where the funds went next. Because like, so we created actually on our Mistrack, which is our AML platform. One of our like developers, they created a Dune analytics where they kind of like, you just input the information on how many transactions went in, and then we can kind of have an estimate on where the funds went, where it came out. Because what we do is like, you kind of like take a look at, all right, so let's say 30,000 ETH went in, right? From let's say October 1st till October 2nd. So there's 30,000 ETH in there, and then we kind of like set up parameters that you can input to kind of see what were the withdrawal rates and where a lot of those funds went. And then at the end of it, we kind of like plug the withdrawal addresses into our Mistrack, the AML platform, and you can see different characteristics of each address. Yeah, so then let's say like we find like 10 addresses that receive 100 ETH each. And then they kind of went through the same process where it's like, hey, they all got split up into 5 different addresses, and then they got sent into another mixing platform, which is what we find that a lot of the hackers are doing now. It's not just like one step; they throw in another like change now or
clever.
Yeah, so it is extremely hard, and you have to be really lucky. So yeah, it's almost like nearly impossible.
So, and another term for mixing is coin shuffling as well. I don't hear people using that term very often. But yeah, your explanation was pretty good about how the mixes work anyway. And I've always thought to myself, all right, I do know there's some crypto brands out there that offer their own coin mixing services. And I thought, but what if they can manipulate that as well, and they can still see who put in what and who took out what and where it came from? So I don't know if that's too much of a possibility, but it's something that's always been on my mind as well, because not all crypto brands are as transparent as what they claim to be too. So yeah, I guess that's one worth looking into in the future. Now, next up, we are going to be revealing our next key word of the evening, and I will be typing this one up again. So just bear with me one moment. So for those of you who have downloaded the iToken app, brace yourselves. Keyword is, and I'm bringing this up on the screen in 2, 1. iToken. Punch that one in. All right. So the second keyword of the night is iToken. Now, moving along, major blockchains usually have some sort of protection policies for users in case of hacking incidents. Does this mean that users do not have to bother too much in placing their own measures, Jean?
No, absolutely not. So even though like some blocks they have like compensations in place, at the end of the day, it's like we all refer back to like not your keys, not your coins. People should have the responsibility to take care of their own. It's just like if you have your own house, you want it to be secure as well. So you should like at least like have some fundamental knowledge on like how to keep your assets safe. Like we actually wrote a dark force manual on our website, and it kind of like it's like all the years of experience that we learned, all the different like how scammers think, and then everything's in there where you can it's just like a basic knowledge that we think users should know about how to keep their assets safe. Like Lindy mentioned earlier on Twitter, if somebody's asking for your keys, I mean, most of us know like, hey, don't give out your keys. That's like the basic thing. But like there's new users coming into crypto each day. So it's like our responsibility as like security experts to like kind of educate them on just like some of the basic stuff.
Lindy, how about you? What's your take on that?
Well, just because something is protected or insured doesn't mean that you don't have to take care of it. So, firstly, it's very troublesome. Like, say I have a house and I have purchased property insurance, and if anything happens, if I get burgled or what, most likely I'm able to claim some money back. But the hassle is so troublesome, and who knows how many percent of it am I able to claim back. So might as well I have the adequate safety measures and I lock my house every time I go out.
So people shouldn't slack off just because something might be insured.
Right.
No, I don't think so. And you never know. Maybe it's not insured. Maybe you use some. Maybe you think that this blockchain is very big, and if it gets hacked, you will surely get your money back. But when it really happens, there's not enough money to cover, or the blockchain doesn't want to cover. Then too bad for you.
Yeah, well, that's it. Now, before we move on, I am noticing in the official Huobi Global app, I think some people are getting confused with the keywords. The keyword is meant to be it's meant to be put into the iToken app. So once again, please, for those of you who don't have the iToken app, go to Google Play and the App Store, download it, and punch in the keywords that we give you during the stream there, not in the official Huobi Global app, that's for sure. All right, so, and yeah, it's funny though, because I do hear cases where, for example, there are some exchanges that offer insurance and blah, blah, blah in case of losses for certain reasons. And then if people do end up losing, they start accusing them of, not being insured and things like that, silly things. But again, we shouldn't become complacent, especially in crypto. I mean, we could still think we're doing all the right things, and then the next day we wake up and everything's just gone, and we thought we did nothing wrong. So yeah, and then there's, I don't know what you would call them. They're not hacks, but I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, and I'm sure you both remember this, there was an incident that occurred where it was one of the, what do you call it? It was one of those cold storage brands. Their database got hacked of their clients' details, but the cold storage devices didn't actually get hacked. I can't remember which one it was. And then about at one point, something million people all over the world started receiving these emails saying that the device had been hacked, and they actually included in the email all their personal details, like full name, date of birth, home address, contact numbers, everything. And a lot of people thought that the cold storage device actually got hacked, but it didn't. It was just the customer's database that got hacked. And they were trying to trick people into thinking, all right, we've got your details to make them safe. Send us your key. Well, I don't know what details it was, because I wasn't affected by this. But some people actually sent details. They sent cryptos there as well, and they lost a lot of money, unfortunately. So it wasn't a hack, but it was like a semi-hack. So
Yeah, so it's kind of like a phishing attack.
sort of, yeah.
Yeah, so essentially, because like for Web2, a lot of company data, like a lot of information was like stored in like centralized servers. So like when I remember like when OpenSea or like Twitter got hacked, we were telling people, hey, listen, you might be receiving all these emails from them, or like from people pretending to be them. That's why you have to like look at the email carefully, because you can see like exactly where it's actually sent from. And then we actually have a lot of cases where we see like people just receiving random emails from MetaMask saying that, hey, your wallet's hacked, you should like contact them. But then I was like, just take a step back, think about it for a second. MetaMask never asked you for your email, so how did they get your email? So, but like for like regular people coming in, that's not something they think about, because that's not something they deal with. So that's why sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, lately, over the last week, I've actually been receiving some of those emails in one of my email accounts as well from MetaMask. And it's been quite a few.
Yeah, because like our information's out there. All they got to do, like now it's even easier now with all these like phishing attacks. You just buy some kind of program that just sends out mass emails. It's almost like they just spray and pray. And then there's always like people who are new signing up and they're like, oh, okay, they're like, oh, I need to, like, oh, they're reminding me. It's the same thing as like traditional phishing attacks. Like they get access to your phone number. And then now it's like they're sending constant messages, and then all it takes is like one click, even from like your banks or anything. And anytime like your email, your phone number gets leaked, all they got to do is just put in a program and it just sends out mass scams.
Yeah. Have you received any of those MetaMask emails lately?
Yeah, I see it all the time.
Yeah.
I see like with Coinbase too, and they're like, hey, your account, this is a transfer, click here to stop it. And then like what I do is like first thing I go click on their email, the sender, and then I was like, oh, this isn't even from Coinbase. It's just like some random numbers.
Gmail.
Yeah. And then like if you take a closer look, you'll see like it just looks different as well. There's usually like some kind of spelling errors, grammars. Yeah. So and then like if you're not sure, what I do is I go straight to the website and then I'll be like, hey, is there any information there? Because usually they'll send you a message in your inbox too.
Lindy, have you received any of these MetaMask emails?
I don't receive it quite as often as you. I don't know why, but
I think last week, yeah.
Yeah, but I know some scammers. Like I received a few, perhaps over the last couple of months. There was one from KuCoin, and actually the sender's address, the hacker's address, was not some string of random numbers. It really looked very legit, like feedback@kucoin.com or something like that.
Oh wow, they're getting good.
Yeah, but they're very smart. If you go and scrutinize it, okay, then you must be thinking how they managed to get the KuCoin domain name to send it, right? But if you go and scrutinize it, it's actually not kucoin.com, because although it looks like kucoin.com, one of the letters, KUCOIN, right? The I is not the English I. They're using some kind of other foreign language I. So it is actually not the KuCoin domain name. They bought it from somewhere else. So, but if a normal regular user, they wouldn't be suspicious and they won't go and scrutinize it so closely. So they might fall scam for it.
Yeah.
I can also go on.
I just want to bring up another point with like Twitter too. What they were doing is like, so you know how like Twitter has the blue check marks?
Yes.
For like verified accounts.
The verification badge, yeah.
Right. So what they would do is like they would hack someone that has that verification blue check mark, and then they would change the name to, let's say, like CZ or like Binance, and then they would like send out massive like scams. So then it was actually pretty creative. And then as time goes on, I'm learning like how creative scammers are getting just to get you to click like malicious files as well. Like one of the recent one we heard about is like they would reach out to like people and saying like, hey, we're a new game company. Do you mind just like downloading this quick demo and then just giving us a review? And I was like, oh, that's like, it's what they're doing, whatever they can for you to click. That's it.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta be careful what you're like. If anything's too good to be true, like it's probably a scam.
Like just
Yeah.
today, one.
Yep.
Did you see in the news today? There was one. They were dropping NFTs. They were dropping like free NFTs to people.
Yeah.
The Phantom one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they were saying like, okay, this is from Phantom Wallet, and we're giving you free NFTs. And then when the user clicks the NFT, it says that you have to upgrade your Phantom Wallet. Please click this to upgrade to the latest version. And then, of course, when they click, they get some malicious software.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also another way to help protect users as well is people who do what I do, which is live streams. They need to be very careful with what they push out to the general public. And I'll give you an example. I receive emails on a daily basis from gaming brands
Yeah.
that would love for me to review them. And then when I look at the sender, because these are like CEOs and CMOs contacting me apparently, and then I look at the emails closely and I see something like FGHIZBZ34 at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I wonder how many people have fallen for this and downloaded whatever it is, if it works, if it even works. And if it works, they entice people to download with malicious software in it, of course, and they get screwed. And if it's not that, it'll probably be my channel get taken over, or even worse, other things as well. So just a quick funny story on that topic. So I always make sure I have a close look at the sender from where these emails are coming from when it comes to pushing out content reviews from companies. They call themselves companies, but they've all got Gmail accounts. It was funny because when Huobi first contacted me, I thought, oh God, it's not a scammer. and I looked at the email address and I thought, oh, that looks pretty good, but it's probably a scammer. And then I read the email again, who sent it to me, the actual sender, and he had his Twitter at the bottom. So I punched it into Twitter manually. I didn't click on it. I punched it in manually, and I saw we had one mutual friend in common, a good friend of mine. So I contacted this friend and I said, hey, do you know this person? And I actually said this, why are you friends with this person? Who are they? Just like that, bluntly. And he told me he's a friend that works at Huobi, blah, blah. I'm like, so it's a legit email? He goes, yeah, I know the guy. He's my friend. Okay, I better respond then. And here we are today. So otherwise, if it wasn't for me doing my own little research manually without clicking links and not finding that out, I mean, a lot of people don't do that either. They just click on the link to find out. So yeah, that's how fragile this whole situation has become in terms of, phishing and scams and hacks and everything else. You got to be extra cautious now. It's really a crazy world out there. So what can regular users learn from the recent security incidents, Lindy?
Well, you read about security incidents. I would say that most importantly, you have to learn how to take care of yourself. Whenever you see news about hacking or scamming or phishing, be sure to read into the details, how exactly it happened, how people get scammed into it, and make sure that you don't repeat the same thing.
So it's a hard lesson. A lot of people are going to still learn the hard way, don't you think?
Do you want to learn from other people's lesson, or do you want to learn from your own lesson?
Exactly. How about you, Jean? What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with Lindy. And then, unfortunately, most of the time, people they don't learn from other people's mistake. They have to learn from their own mistake. Just hope that it doesn't wipe you out completely. So yeah, that's why on our Twitter account we actually post all the scams, how they're done, and then how to protect yourself too. One of the most recent one is the e-sign. So essentially, e-sign is a function where it allows you to kind of when you sign it, it's pretty much like a blank check you're giving to the scammer, and they can use that check over. They can use that signature over and over again to transfer funds out of your account.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'll show you the tweet afterwards too on our Twitter. So essentially, what they do is on MetaMask, there's different sign functions, and each sign is the only one where it shows up in red, give you a warning. It's like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? So like scammers, they would create like a fake like doodles or like Bored Ape NFT web page and say, hey, go here, claim a new one. So then when you click sign, even though let's say like you're like you see the red and you're like, oh, I don't want to approve this. What they do now is they quickly create another pop-up. So the second you click cancel, another pop-up comes up that says, do you want to confirm? And then
No
for
way.
regular, yeah, it's so.
I
it's
see
like,
where this is going. I see where this is
Yeah.
going. Go on.
So
Yep.
like it's if you don't like actually read what the signature says, and then you just click confirm because you think, oh, I'm confirming that I want to cancel that transaction. Upon closer look, the other function you're confirming is set approval for all. Set approval for all.
Of course.
Essentially, what that means is like, yeah, now you're setting approval for your NFTs, and now just because like you didn't like take a second to like read the message, now you're like giving them access to your NFTs. So that's why it's like it's so it's not like there's nothing wrong with security. It's just how like scammers are using like social engineering to trick you into clicking.
Yeah, I was about
or
to say
approving
tricksters.
functions. Yeah.
I can see how a lot of people would fall for that, but unfortunately, once again, not everyone is as well educated and versed in that type of security precautionary measure. So yeah, as soon as you said that second pop-up, I knew straight away what you were going to say next. I'm like, oh no, here we go. So I was going to say on a non-crypto note, but I'm not really sure if it was to do with crypto or not. But I had a friend whose bank account got drained. They don't know how. They do have a little bit of crypto. They dabble in here and there. So maybe they downloaded something that affected their bank account. I don't know. But what happened was they woke up one morning, the bank account was empty completely, didn't know where the money went. They contacted the bank. The bank said, no worries, we'll fix it for you, and we will refund you the missing funds.
Yeah.
Okay? It's part of our service to you. And the moment they put the money into his bank account,
It got
was taken
drained?
out again.
Oh.
Again, instantly, straight away. So what they should have done was close his account, given him a new one, and then put the money in there. But instead they said, oh, don't worry, we'll just send you the money back and we'll chase the scammer or whoever stole the money. And again, second time, bang, gone. So maybe he downloaded some crypto email link, something maybe. Don't know, but he's a very
traditional bank.
traditional bank, yeah, but he's also extremely new to crypto and doesn't really know much about crypto.
It reminds me of this thing called a sweeper. There's this thing called a sweeper where somebody gains access of somebody's private tokens, private key. So let's say I have access to your private key, Daco. I accidentally gave it to me, or I managed to hack into your computer to steal it or something. So I installed this script, it's called sweeper, such that every time some token of value goes into your wallet, it immediately gets cleared out.
Oh, wow.
So it works exactly the same way as what your friend experienced.
And where can I download such an app from?
You can go buy it on the black market if you want.
No, I'm just joking.
I'm
But
surprised
I'm
you didn't
sure
get
it's
any of those like Twitter.
Twitter.
I'm like, yeah, for a while they were sending out. It's like, hey, I'm a student. I have this account that I can't access my money because I don't have any like. They will say they have like 5,000 USDT in there, and then like, oh, here's my private key. If you can get that money out, I'll split what you have. And then that was like the same thing because they already have functions set up the second you deposit funds in there, and then they will just automatically transfer to the scammer's wallet.
Wow, that's crazy. Sounds like a very handy tool to have, though. So, Jean, are assets more secure on centralized blockchains or decentralized blockchains?
So I think that like there's pros and cons to both, and then like both projects or reputable projects, they usually have like audits or like security teams in place to keep the users' funds safe. But usually like it's a lot harder to create like a centralized exchange versus a DeFi exchange, because then anybody can just like go to like GitHub, copy the code, and then be like, hey, we see that like during like the crypto bull market, everybody's new exchanges were popping up each day. But like, yeah, you want to be careful with those because like, unless it's audited, like for us, we want to make sure like our not just that like our quality is great, but we also like we're picky with who we decide to audit to, because then at the end of the day, like if something happens, like if they decide to like rug or run away, it comes back to us and it ruins our reputation as well. So usually like you want some kind of like where you know the team and then they have like a good reputation.
Yeah, that's true. How about you, Lindy? What do you think? Assets more secure on centralized blockchains or decentralized blockchains?
I don't think you can answer the question like that because whether or not a blockchain is centralized or decentralized is not really relevant to the security. So it really depends on the team and the ability of the tech people, how well they are able to write a contract that is secure. So let's say a good team that writes a secure contract, be it centralized or decentralized, it will still be safer than a lousy team who wrote a poor contract with holes all over the place. So yeah, centralized or decentralized is just it just means that how it works it's just like autocracy and democracy. Uh,
Mm.
Decisions are being made, but nothing to do with the security. I don't think so.
So, Jean, you're pretty much along the same lines as Lindy then?
Yeah, it's like it all depends on what the security team is because it wouldn't be fair to be like, hey, one is more secure than the other. Because like we're going back to like the compensation, like we've seen some projects where it was the project's fault and then the user fund got hacked and then they're willing to compensate. And the same thing with like your friend's situation with the banks. It's a centralized institution and then like they're like, oh yeah, we messed up, but we'll compensate you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, to everybody watching, we very soon we'll be giving the next keyword. So please make sure you have downloaded the iToken app and get ready to punch in the next keyword to see if you are one of the lucky winners of tonight's contest. So that will be coming up after the next question, which, by the way, is other than not sharing private key information, what other simple steps can regular users take to enhance safety, Jean?
So like security is like a living and breathing thing. That's how like we want to approach it from. And then like things are constantly changing all the time. So like one of the basic things I say is like, hey, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's not like a lot of time it's not like if something can happen, it's like when something happens, you want to make sure like you're protected at all times.
Yeah.
Like just simple things like, hey, don't leave your private key laying around. Some people will just I've seen some people where like they just have it on a sticky note on their computer. I was like, why would you do that? Yeah.
No.
Right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people do that. And they're like, oh no. And then like people are confused, especially newcomers coming in this world. Because like if you sign up for MetaMask or a lot of wallets, they like, hey, here's your private key and then here's a password. They would think the password is the access because that's what they're used to in like traditional like Web 2. The password is what gets access to your account, not the private key. So a lot of it, I think like we have to like just go back to like basic like Web3 security. So that's why we actually wrote the Dark Forest manual, and I'll give you the link afterwards too, where it just goes over everything, and then all like the like how to keep your funds safe, how to protect them, how to safely store it, different types of options you have, because they're like it's once you start digging deeper, there's so much involved for like a newcomer to take in. Like they don't know the difference between a hot wallet or cold wallet. And like the fact that people are still falling for these like, hey, give me your private key like scams, it's just like for us it's like, oh, no brainer, but for them they're like they still don't understand the concept.
True. Anything else that you want to mention?
Who, me?
Yes, you. I've still got you on my screen. So is there any other information that regular users can take simple steps to enhance security? Anything else you want to cover?
Yeah, mostly just like if they want to get like a cold storage wallet as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, makes sense. And Lindy, how about you? What can users do? What steps can they take to protect themselves?
Okay, I guess everybody knows the basics. Don't share your private key, don't write your private key, don't email to yourself your private key, and don't screenshot your private key and keep it in your phone. So this is the most basic. Other than that, I want to share a function called revoke permissions. If you could if you could flash the screenshot that I sent you of the
Okay,
wallet.
let me see if I can get this right because it's so small on my screen. Was
Yeah,
it
correct.
this one?
That's the correct one.
Yes,
Yep. So
I got it right this time.
this is a screenshot of iTokenWallet. You can see that in
Yep.
this case, there's this button called approval. So whenever you access any dApps, any protocols, and you use your wallet to conduct certain transactions, there will be a button for you to approve it so that the dApp can help you conduct the transaction on your behalf. It's similar to the one that Jen talked about, the MetaMask and the second pop-up coming up. So when you do approvals, it most likely remains there.
Mhm.
So you have to make it a habit to check your list of approvals periodically, maybe once a week. Well, if you're paranoid, every day, and make sure you revoke approvals. It means that once, for example, I do a swap in PancakeSwap and I approve X number of transactions. Usually, when I'm
Mhm.
done, I just close the app and that's it. But you have
Yep.
to have the practice of going in frequently every few days to check what you have left approved that you did not cancel, and make sure to cancel every one of them. Because
Ah.
if you move on to the next screen, the one with a lot of words,
Okay, so these transactions won't go through unless you hit this approval in the list
no,
of the
this
app.
is actually the list of approvals that you have not cancelled, and you are supposed to cancel them.
Okay. And is there a certain time limit they stay there for, or?
No, it's pretty much like indefinite until
Forever.
so.
That's why it's so dangerous.
Oh.
Can you flash the next image, the one with a lot of text, the bunch of
Is this
text? The other next one.
This one?
Yeah. Okay, so look at this.
Yep.
Formerly, previously, multi-chain, they had something compromised and they encouraged users to revoke the approvals, because most of the time when the users did their cross-chain swaps or their bridging in multi-chain app, they did not revoke the approvals. So if the user had transacted any of these underlined in red, they are now at risk. Okay, so the thing is that multi-chain only put up this announcement when it was compromised. So between the time that it was compromised and the time that the readers read this, maybe the tokens are already stolen. But if you had the habit of revoking permission frequently, you wouldn't even be in this situation in the first place, and you wouldn't have to frantically try to revoke it. And worst of all is you don't know what's revoked and you have to learn it all over again. And by the time you get it, your tokens are gone.
I'm just having a read now. So, cross-chain router protocol multi-chain, formerly AnySwap, urges users to revoke approvals for 6 tokens to avoid loss due to a critical vulnerability that is currently being exploited by malicious individuals. Users who approved Wrapped ETH, Perry Finance, Official Mars Token, Wrapped BNB, Polygon, and Avalanche on the multi-chain platform are now at risk. Experts warn. To avoid loss, the multi-chain team advises users to cancel all of the approvals given to the specified tokens so they can protect their crypto assets. And I believe we have lost Jean. He just dropped out.
Oh, what happened to Jen?
He should be back. He's got the link. So if he dropped out, he'll just come back. So yeah, as we mentioned, cold storage wallets, and don't give out your private keys. Common sense stuff. I remember even John McAfee himself, he used to say he can't get hacked because his private key is in his head. Nobody can access it. So he memorized his private keys. So and again, emails, people need to be vigilant when it comes to emails as well. Telegram is another bad one. Telegram. A lot of people get wrecked via Telegram. You probably get them every day as well. I don't know if you're a Telegram user, but you are. I don't know, but if you are a Telegram user, you probably get it every day. People message you, hi, hello, whatever, and then when you click on their information, because you don't know who this person is, there's no groups in. That's the biggest giveaway. No groups in common. right? So I'm personally, I get these messages every day. I'm in a lot of groups as well, and I get these messages every day. Hi, can I be your friend? Is one of them. Hi, hi. I am from this exchange, and I would love to list your project. And again, if the red flag for me is there's no groups in common. So how did they find me in the first place? So that's another one as well. There's a lot of people prying in different groups anyway. Other than that, we have Jean back now.
Hey, sorry about that. I just lost power.
Oh, you're having a bit of a storm there, are you?
Yeah, it just like flickered in and out for a sec.
Yeah. Well, earlier when we dropped out for a few seconds, I was a bit worried because we actually had a big storm tonight here, and I was thinking, oh, I hope the stream doesn't get cut off. But so far, so good. So yeah, we're just continuing on from what we can advise people. What simple steps can they take to enhance safety? Another one I think as well is people shouldn't be bragging about how much crypto they have, because that as well makes them a target. An unwilling target. And there's been a lot of people on the news being held at ransom because they bragged about what crypto they were holding and how much. So it's best to play the poor man or poor woman, so to speak, and don't sit there telling the world how much you have. And if people really want to send out tokens, for example, where someone approaches them and says, hey, if you send me 1 ETH, I'll send you 2 back. And if people really want to do that and people really want to lose their money, please, by all means, send me the ETH and I promise you will never see it again. I promise you. 100% guarantee. So, yeah. So are there any other steps that we can share with the audience on measures to protect themselves, or have we covered everything? I think.
I think the users don't really have control as to whether blockchains get hacked or not. But what you do have control over is whether you get scammed or not. So just try to be smart in relation to that.
That's true.
I completely agree with Wendy.
And the problem is there's so many new crypto projects getting listed on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap every day. And I'll be honest, I believe 99% of them are just scammy looking anyway. But some of them look really, really good. And then some that look really, really good are also scammy. And then some that look really, really bad, they're obviously red flags all over. So like spelling errors is a big one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a big giveaway, that one. And one other thing that we haven't mentioned yet, and I just remembered it now, is people need to get into the habit, especially MetaMask users, they need to get into the habit of checking connected sites in the MetaMask wallet. That's another one they need to do as well. And if there's a site there that they don't recognize or don't remember because they don't use it and it's connected, they should. It's in MetaMask. You can disconnect and clear it away. So, and if you're not sure of a website, just don't connect to anything. Don't visit it. Don't download anything. It's really all common sense. Now we are moving on to our next. Yep. Was that John?
I just had a quick suggestion. So this is something what I do. So like MetaMask, you can create multiple wallets super easily, right? Same thing with a lot of different wallets out there. So what I usually recommend people is, hey, create different wallets, name them. So then like have one where it's like just for NFTs, have one for like DeFi and whatever. That way, if something gets hacked, you know exactly where to look and you can trace back to exactly how it got hacked. Like keep majority of funds in one wallet and like don't send it anywhere. Like don't connect it to anything. And then like if you want to buy something, hey, send it to this wallet. So then only that wallet gets compromised. And then later back, if you look back to see like only this wallet got compromised, or if all your wallets got compromised, then it might be a security issue because you download like a malicious file or something.
Or maybe clicked on one of those MetaMask update emails.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, I am going to give away the next keyword of this evening. And once again, I will bring this up. So give me 5 seconds just to punch it in. And okay, I'll do this right now. Keyword. And the next keyword of this evening is slow mist.
Ooh, that's us.
That's you, all right. So slow mist is the next keyword for this evening. Now we're going to move on to the next question. And by the way, everybody watching, please smash that like button. Now, with regard to safety, should users place their assets in exchange wallets or non-custodial wallets? Who wants to go first? This is open banter right here.
Jen, you can go first.
Okay. This is like from my. I think it's good to have like a little bit of both, because with centralized wallets, you do have that security where it's like if it gets hacked, whatever, you are covered. But at the same time, it's like we're going back to not your keys, not your coin. You should have some amount that's accessible to you, just in case, God forbid, something does happen. Whereas like we know, like one of the most recent one, like Celsius, you had a lot of people depositing funds in there, and then like so they went under. Now a lot of people, their funds are locked in there.
Yeah.
Now they don't have access to it. So it's going back, like there's pros and cons with both.
Mount Gox is another one.
Oh, yeah, but I think they no, sorry, that was a different one. Yeah, I was thinking like I think they recovered some of the Bitcoin, right?
It's too hard to say. I really don't know what's going on anymore. And they keep saying they're going to release some of the Bitcoins to the people who lost it. And that those dates keep getting pushed back. And then they had released some in the past, and people were anticipating a huge global market dump, sell off. And then when time came, it didn't even scratch the market. And then the next one's coming up, I think in 6 months or something. And people are now saying, oh, there's going to be a huge market dump. And it just doesn't really have an effect. Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't really have an effect. So
just going back to your old, like one of your old questions where it's like, oh, just because like they're going to compensate you, should you, like, even if they're going to compensate, you don't know how long that would take. It's just such a lengthy process. Yeah. And then like there's two aspects to like of the recovery of like crypto assets that people don't think about. The first step is the tracing, and then the second step is the actual recovery. Because then like you have to go to, you need to like get legal teams, like law enforcement involved to go to these exchanges that have your stolen funds and improve it. And that could be such a lengthy process.
Oh, definitely. Even if you send your own coins to one of your own exchange wallets and it's the wrong wallet, even that can be a lengthy process trying to get it back.
Oh, yeah. Because they have to talk to somebody. Sorry.
I've done that before.
Yeah. No, I made so many mistakes.
And the lesson of the day is do not drink and transfer crypto. That's the lesson of the day.
Oh.
All right. So, Lindy, how about you? Do you think users should place their assets in exchange wallets or non-custodial wallets?
You can do both, I guess. If you're going to use an exchange, it will be safer, but only if you're using a reputable exchange, like top 5 or top 10. Maybe some users think that okay, exchanges are regulated and whatever, but actually not really. Like where are you regulated? The Cayman Islands or the BVI or where some unknown jurisdiction in which your money is not safe anyway. And also if you keep it in some like Donald Duck exchange, it might just close the next day and still your funds are not protected. But then again, there's also in holding your money in cold wallets. So although your cold wallet might not get hacked online, but a burglar can come into your house and steal your cold wallet, right? And better still, if you have a cold wallet and your private key written on a piece of paper and stored beside your cold wallet, all the easier for the robber to steal your money. So in summary, just be safe and be cautious and be paranoid, whatever you do.
Yeah. And it's not just a burglar, breaking into your house and stealing your things and finding your phrase. What if your house burns down, knock on wood, or an earthquake happens and everything, things like that as well. So, I mean, some people have said also write down your keyword, your phrase, or on 3 pieces of paper and put them at 3 different places that are far away from each other, things like that. So, yeah, at least with an exchange, if you lose the funds there, you can put the blame on them, right? You say, "Oh, the exchange lost my money," but then if you've got it like on your laptop, sitting on your laptop, for example, and then you do get burgled or the house caught on fire and the laptop is gone and all the information was there, then you're going to feel a bit silly afterwards when you put the blame on yourself. So I guess for some peace of mind, as well as Lindy just said, you have some peace of mind with an exchange as long as it's reputable and has gained that market trust, because not all exchanges can be trusted as well, as we've seen in the past. So there was one exchange, and I don't think I'm wrong. I think it was Hotbit. They had issues last year. Hotbit exchange. And I always thought they were a really good exchange. And then news came out they got hacked. And I'm not sure if they still exist. Have you guys heard anything about that? You didn't hear about that?
There's been so many. It probably did. And then there's just been so many attacks lately. I couldn't even keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually have like a calm period and then like just like a wave.
And then there was Cryptopia shut down, and there was another one called CCX. I think they were a Russian one, and they are facing legal battles, I think, over in Europe as well at the moment. I'm not sure if that's come to a close. So, and then of course there was the infamous OneCoin case. That was another one that tricked a lot of people, where they were giving out tokens with courses, and everything was just useless. So, yeah, is there anything else that we would like to share with the Huobi Global audience before we give this a wrap?
No. I think that's all.
That's all,
yeah.
Jean?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just like, hey, it's the way I see it is like, think of back to the day where you're keeping your funds at home, like just have like cash under your mattress versus keeping it in a bank. So like there's pros and cons both sides too, if you want to think about it that way. If you're going to keep your funds at home, just make sure you have like good security practice in place. Like you said, don't go around telling people, hey, I'm a crypto millionaire. Like, don't go bragging about it, because then they're going to know. It's like, oh, this guy probably has something at his place.
Yeah, there was. I remember one time I was doing a live stream and someone in the live chat asked, "Darko, you must be rich millionaire." And I said, "I actually live in a cave, bro. I'm a very humble man. I don't own anything. I just go to a friend's house where my PC is to do these live streams, and I go back to my cave and I live humble."
So we have the background.
Yeah. The background hides all the bats behind me hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
So,
and with the long hair, with the long caveman hair.
Yeah, the caveman hair. Yeah. I shouldn't have shaved. That's now. I did that to myself now. But at the end of the day, everybody should be safe and diligent. Excuse me. Got a tickly throat. And again, be careful with emails. Be careful with exchanges. Be careful with new projects, new coins. Be careful with launch pads. Be careful with coin shuffling, coin mix as well. Be careful with a lot. So that's pretty much all our bases covered for this evening. Lindy, thank you so much for coming back. It was a pleasure to see you back again.
Thank you. To all audience, don't worry. Just keep your crypto safe and just do the necessary precautions, and we're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it.
That's right, Jean, and it's good to see you here, meeting you for the first time as well. Hopefully we get to see you both back in the near future and do it all over again.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. And to everybody out there watching, please subscribe, like, share, and retweet this episode. Smash that notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. Share this with your friends, your family. Share it with your pets. Share it with your neighbors. Even share it with your worst enemy, and let us know how that turned out for you. But we know you do not have enemies because you're right here, right now, watching this, which makes you an awesome person. So without further ado, until next time, please be safe, be healthy, trade wise, and as always, rock on.